G'day punters, welcome to the Mailbags preview show for Eagle Farm. 2 Group 1s, 1 Group 2, Shane Ciurleo, Mark Rhoden and myself here to preview the card. Girls, start us off. What are you making of this group-laden card so far?
Yes, it's a racing enthusiast delight. From a wagering position, it's not that great. I went back and did a review of last Saturday's wagering and realised that they don't pay any more if you back a winner in a group race. That's still the case this week, I believe. Mark mentioned off air that once upon a time you used to be able to get more on in a Group 1. You used to be able to win more in a Group 1 than what you could in a maiden. But now you can bet to win 1,000 on all class races.
Yeah. And even if you wanted to play exotics, the exotic pools have been so cannibalised by, well, everyone with an interest that those monster trifecta pools and first four pools don't really exist anymore either.
Isn't it wonderful?
So anyway, look, there's some nice horses here. There's some races worth looking at. In saying that, I do like... I will be betting into one of the Group 1 races, but outside of that, not a lot. Probably kick off, just quickly skim over race 3, the Fred Best Classic. We see Ayrton. Jamie Carr's taken the ride. Now, I noticed on Twitter there was some adulation for Jamie getting out of Melbourne and getting to Brisbane last night. Now, I don't know whether we should be applauding that type of behaviour. She's as much chance as being positive or exposed to COVID as anyone else that's fleeing the state.
Does she shop at High Point, does she? Is that what you're suggesting?
I'm not sure which Woolies, but who knows? Anyway, I'd imagine that there'd be some kind of testing or something going on there. The Queensland government's been pretty strong on that. Yeah. We've heard about the issues that they had travelling the horses up here via plane, which was at one point in Hong Kong before it was due to fly to Melbourne. It's due to fly up to Queensland, so the Health Minister was onto that and put in a stop to that pretty quick. So who knows? But anyway, she's here to ride Ayrton. It's $1.60, $1.55 actually. I do have a black booker in this race, not an option, from a horse that was hitting the line in a little bit weaker grade, I suppose, through that glitter strip race. But he's just a horse that's got no gate speed whatsoever. It's going to be last, and it just makes him hard to entertain. Sort of considered backing him a hole, but then you can look at the speed map here. I think Apache chased the 3 back in trip. Jimmy Byrne will make this a really, really strongly run 1,400. So, it'll give him a chance. It'll give Not an Option a chance to, to get back and hit the line up along Eagle Farm Straight. Has hit a bit of a flat spot last start with Mick Carlon, who's probably a little bit kinder on him than someone like Nash, who's, we've seen Nash, hammer horses like Yao Dash through a flat spot and things like that. Like you can certainly get a horse going through a flat spot. So it probably suits the horse. But I think we're expecting to see Ayrton win and then go to the Stradbroke is sort of what we're anticipating here.
Who's got the Stradbroke right again?
Good question. Someone's, don't know. Ben Thompson? No?
He had his hand up for it and didn't get it, I think.
But you better Google that while we're talking, because I don't have...
You just chat amongst yourselves. I'll Google it.
I've got Ayrton favourite. That's a shock. Everyone will be shocked to hear that listening home. Just on, without looking at the race and without, penalising anything like that, the $1.55 now is as good as you'll see. I don't think we'll see any longer race day. $1.60, $1.55 will be its SP. That's the race.
Was it Rachel King?
Rachel King.
Yes. And I didn't get that on Google. It just occurred to me.
So there was a little bit of talk about, why is it favourite for the Stradbroke? Well, it's pretty obvious why, because there's no open age horses going any good that you want to be on. Yeah. That's why. I mean,
and they'll be giving it lumps of weight.
Yeah, I mean, Rachel King, I'll probably add 4 lengths for the jockey switch from Jamie to Rachel, but it'll still be favourite. Race 6 we'll look at now. What do you call this race? It's the 2-year-old race.
The Sires, yeah.
The James Squires Sires. Prince of Boom, the favourite here, the Robert Heathcote horse who won last start off a 6-day backup off a provincial win at the Sunny Coast, and basically kicked their brains in. It was the only horse that was wanted in the market on the day in that race. It was one-way traffic, money-wise. Everything else drifted in the market. And it killed him and put up a really strong figure. Strong enough when I sort of price up the punting form data that he's come up like as short as, obviously I have without adjusting for map, like, you know, he could be as short as like 230, 240, this horse. He's got a bit of against him here from the wide gate. And I think, you know, there's still been solid money for him here, which is a bit of a surprise once he drew 13, but he was still $5 straight into 420 once the markets went up. So he was dominant, but this is a different race altogether. Look, if you like Prince of Boom, and the market certainly does, I think you have to give Invincible Tears a hope. I thought it was a super effort. Very strong sectional data, and particularly late strong sectionals as well. And it'll get a nice run from the gate. It's $23 versus Prince of Boom $4.20, and Prince of Boom's going to have to do some work from the gate. Strange piece of track work footage during the week. It was working with a mate when the cameras were at Eagle Farm, which is a complete wank, because every trainer's saying how good their horse is working. But he worked with a mate, and the mate he was working with took off on the jock and like burn out like 200 metres in front of Prince of Boom. So Ben Thompson rode Prince of Boom in his track work and never bothered chasing the tearaway track mate. So he just sort of ambled around doing his own thing. So I don't know what that sort of, you know, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing or what, but look, at $4 from the gate, it's going to be tricky. We want to have a good look to see how the track's playing and sort of work it out from there as the day unfolds. But it looks like a good chance. Obviously, Ranch Hand is a horse that I've been talking about. For anyone that listens to the show with Gareth on RSN, I've been sort of penned this horse as a potential size / AJ Atkins horse. Thought it might have been a bet at $11. It's come up with gate 11. J-Max Dix, and it's about $6. I think it's a good hope. Port Lewis was a horse that I didn't mind, but it's drawn 16. Miss Hipstar, local horse that I thought was some chance, it'd come up with gate 17. So some really pretty average maps there for a few of the main chances. So look, I want to have a look at the track as the day progresses there, but certainly just on first look, I thought Invincible Tears was a big price compared to Prince of Boom, who, you know, with the barrier draw anyway, and how they look like settling. So I'm a little bit inconclusive at this point. I don't know whether you both want to add anything to that.
Not specifically about the race, but I was just looking at punting form. Now, you know, they've got the new feature with the jockey and trainer average to expected and hot stats.
Yeah.
Just looking at Ranch Hand, this is remarkable. Last 100 runners, C. Waller and J. McDonald, and the combination of the two of them, are all outperforming market expectation significantly and are actually profitable. At SP, this is incredible. The highest profile trainer and the highest profile jockey in the land, you would expect to be totally overbet. Like Mariro in Hong Kong, you'd expect them to be overbet just every time they go out, and you can just back them blind and win last 100 starts. That's an incredible inefficiency in the market.
Huge stat, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, Ranch Hand also gets the blinkers today, this week as well, Saturday, and using the wrong part of the track, blah, blah, blah. Still got to have some improvement on what some of the others have tossed up figures-wise. I just thought he was a horse that had it in him to be able to do it, but that's a huge stat, eh?
Yeah. You thought he was wrong spotted. He was wrong spotted at Gold Coast, wasn't he, Rancho?
Yeah. He got sort of pushed inside on settling and never got an opportunity to get to the outside and had to go back to the inside, which was inferior on the day. So I think, he's got beat a nostril.
Yeah.
Head up, head down. If his head's down, he's a last start winner and he's, probably more favoured. But anyway, that's what I'm thinking. I sort of like Ranch Hand a little bit. I liked Ranch Hand at $12 when we were tipping it on the show a couple of weeks ago. So I'm happy for it to be on at that price. But we'll see. A little bit of water to go under the bridge between now and then with what happens at Eagle Farm. The next race we look at will be race 7. This is the real interesting race because you've got to start with the title of the race, and it really depends on where you went to school. The Mowat and Shandon Derby or the Moa and Shandon Derby?
Neither. You're half right twice there.
Yeah.
Mowat and Shandon Derby.
I didn't go to school. I left in grade 10. What's the what is a Derby or Derby? Why is that? What is that?
I don't know where. I think the Yanks and West Australians say Derby. The city in England, which is, it's named for the Earl or Lord Derby. The city in England's Derby.
Derby. No, Kentucky Derby?
Hey?
Is it the Kentucky Derby?
I think they say Derby, don't they? Over there.
Don't know. In WA, we say Derby for football and Derby for racing.
And the town in the northwest is Derby, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
Anyway, I didn't get a Guernsey or a Jersey into the Moa and Shandon tent for the Derby. So I'll be at home betting on it. It's quite simple, isn't it, this race? If Explosive Jack turns up and runs the same figures that it has produced in its previous 3 Derby wins, it wins again, doesn't it?
How did he get beaten in the Bendigo St Ledger trial? Is what I want to know.
That's a great question. Laquiro.
Well, that's it. Like, do any of them have the? Yeah, it's hard trying to find something that's going to knock it off, given that it's drawn gate 6, and I guess just having a cursory glance at the map, the other horses that have the figures that have won with those figures have all drawn pretty ordinary.
Senor.
Well, that's the one, isn't it? That's the main one here. And can we see?
He's completely cast from the gate.
Yeah, he has to be, doesn't he? There's just back. Is that it?
I'd imagine. Has Uncle Chris got enough ammo in this race to not make the same mistake as they made last start for the Big Grey and let him walk early?
Well, I'll tell you what will be forward is Achiever, but I don't know that they want to light it up necessarily.
Well, geez, I still want to be on Explosive Jack if they are lighting it up because it's just such a good staying colt. Like even last time the race went out in Morfordville, the race went out 4.6 lengths quick, and he was.
They probably want to do the opposite, make it moderately run, and see if he can out-kick him, and make it not a staying test. Because if it's a 2,500 metre race, he wins almost every.
Sure. Yeah. Thought the stablemate ran really well. Let's Caraca deal. Possibly a little bit of pocket talk from me, but I think in fairness it had its chance. It tracked Explosive Jack the entire way, and like Johnny Allen was 3 deep with cover, and didn't have a care in the world. Always thought he'd on a superior star, and that's how it turned out. So it's hard to see the tables getting turned there again, isn't it? Like if they run to their numbers, and we've seen Huey Bowman tweet redraw after the barrier draw for this race. It's cast. I can't find anything else that can turn the tables. I've sort of gone looking. Is there an up and comer? Is Horrifying like a fresh horse on the seam type that can run a race?
I could entertain 2, probably more as place bets rather than win or even each way, because they will be on speed and they're in form, and that's Achiever and Maranoa. But I would expect, if all was well with the favourite, that he would get past him. But I think they could give a great... you're getting 460 plus the place, both of them. I think they could be both just lob on speed in a race where there's not much speed on paper and give a sight.
Yeah. Don't disagree there. They try to lead on... Sagacious led up in the Rough Habit. Walked. I don't know, they got the tongue tie on it this time. Needed a big turnaround. Only got beat 20. Yeah. So I'm thinking about the map from a map point of view. Does that mean like Maranoa probably rolls to the top, doesn't it?
Yeah. And Achiever comes across an 11, will be in the first 3.
Yeah.
I know historically he's been more of a get-back horse, but he's won leading last start. I mean, there's no way they're going to change that formula.
Did go out quick last time too, Maranoa. Minus, was it? Something minus negative 9.6?
Didn't look that fast. But, look, I thought it was still a brave effort. That was his... I mean, he's going, 1,600, 2,000, 2,400 on the hop. But if anyone can do it, it's Gabot. But... it's a quick... I'm not tipping it, but I think it could hang on for a place as good Achiever.
Yep. Fair enough. I've really got not much else to add other than what I said. Probably said it in the first sentence. Explosive Jack runs up to its form, it wins. Pistol, can you give some kind of enlightenment or incitement or anything that sounds knowledgeable?
Not really. I'll probably end up playing Quinellas around the 2 Mar Oustas favourites in this, because I think in terms of horses that have run the distance, they're clearly just chalking up the kilometres in the leg, so to speak, and a lot of these are jumping up in distance for the first time. Both these horses just map so ideally.
Yeah.
I'll just have a fun bet there. I got my cash out of Explosive Jack last start, and I'm more than happy to watch him win another Derby without me. But, yeah. Get into those Quinella pools. Woo!
Yeah. Well, race 8 then. We'll go across to race 8. Now, I should be able to pronounce this race. The Kingsford-Smith Cup. This is a Group 1.
So this is the race that used to be the BRC Cup Sprint.
It used to be the QTC Cup.
QTC, mate.
And then BRC when it merged, yeah. Yep.
So this is the race that I got mixed up the other week.
I track record on this when I was a youngster.
Yeah.
20 odd, in that young. And then he was favourite in the straight break around about 6th.
Mate, you're upset there's skateboarding in the Olympics. So when you were a youngster, that might have been back in the 60s, was it?
Yes. All the demographic in quotation marks. That's where I see.
Yeah, look, I think the young fella on Twitter had a point. Like, we still have dressage as an Olympic sport.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, it's true. I'm not. There's a lot of bullshit in the Olympics. Don't get me wrong.
I feel. I mean, Tony Hawk should be a gold medalist. Simple as that. The skateboarding should have been in there years ago. I don't mind this race. I'm going to bet into this race. I'm going to sort of bet probably more the place than the win. Like, maybe back this horse 1 by 3. We'll go through it. Trekking, I think the gate makes it difficult for it, and the map makes it difficult for it. I just don't know that he's going. I know he only got beat 0.8, Eduardo. Eduardo's ran 4 lengths inferior to what it's done previously in the prep. I think that whole Eduardo race might be a little flattered form-wise. I thought Eduardo was well below his best and probably made the others look a bit better than what they sort of are going, maybe. I could be completely on the wrong tram there, but that's what I'm going with. Gitra, 5th gate 15. Thoughts on its last start? I know, Pistol, that you did the race pretty deeply and said if the Gitra turns up, it wins last week. What did you make of its effort?
Look, I mean, it had a minor excuse, but a minor excuse only. I think in run, it was sort of getting ushered out with dirty work and lost a bit of ground. But I mean, as blessed as the winner was, he wasn't necessarily taking ground off them late. And as we've spoken about it heaps of times, Eagle Farm, first time at the track, that has to be a query in itself, doesn't it?
It does.
The one thing I'd say about Gitra last start was that I'm not sure he'd ever run at 1200 first up before. Yep. I mean, in my view, his best ever run was in Sydney over 1300, so 1200 isn't the worry of itself, but first up, he's a 1,000 metre first up sort of specialist. And he seemed to race that way. He sort of half learned and didn't finish off in the last 100.
Yeah.
I think he's a chance in this with luck from the go, but that's the big query.
Yeah, I mean, I think the market's about right on it. Like, I can't get it any shorter than 480.
Yeah.
Like, just with that map and the gate. Look, I think the gates are... You probably get more chance in the straight at Eagle Farm, I suppose, but it's still, like... It's very interesting, like, when you line up these southern horses coming to Queensland tracks, because you're used to Queensland horses running on Queensland tracks 50 weeks of the year, right? So it takes a certain quality of animal to be able to overcome certain things and win at Doomben from the back. Like we saw it last Saturday with that Blue Jacket horse. We saw it with Nudge. Now, that sort of horse, you just wouldn't. If that was a Queensland type setup, I hope I'm making sense here.
Yeah, they don't.
Not a Queensland Saturday. You're not back at a horse that Matt where Nudge did.
Yeah, they don't. Like the restricted horses don't have the acceleration to overcome. Yeah.
So, like, obviously, you know, Eagle Farm, you know, Gitra could get back and slot in 3 wide with cover and still be a chance, you know, to hit the line. But I can't get it any shorter. Sava 2XL, like, I just can't possibly entertain. Like,
completely blessed. I think
I've got it like $25 without like penalising it for the game.
Yeah.
All right. Any like tell me I'm wrong, but was it not hashtag blessed or not?
It was completely blessed. Yeah.
Imaging gate 16. Like, how's it possibly, like, can it win from there? I don't know.
Would need some luck, wouldn't it?
It's going to need some luck. Kementari, surely not. I've got it 50s, Kementari. And probably evens to get beat within 2.
If anyone out there has priced the race themselves, even if you've got it $7 or something, just don't back it.
Yeah, you
even
can't
if it's
back
a triple overlay, don't back it.
No, you can't possibly back it. Victorium has come up to Queensland and raced well in these setups previously. Now, it hasn't been seen race day since the 24th of April, but it did have a nice little barrier trial, and there's a little bit of spruik on social media about its barrier trial. Just want to point out that the second horse in that barrier trial is a 2,200 metre maiden winner last start, resuming at the trial. So there's a little bit to tie in there. He has got a nice gate. He does get a soft running transit here, but certainly not ruling him out. But I'm going to steer away from him. Sosi Bond, obviously you guys or the Southern blokes would have seen him more than me, but he doesn't seem to run a bad race, does he? He's always sort of thereabouts.
Wouldn't you'd rather him at a mile in this sort of class, I think?
Well, probably, maybe. I mean, I don't really know how to line up those restricted sales races. Like that Vobis, that Caulfield when Pike won on him was a Vobis race, wasn't it, Pistol?
Yeah.
Like he went good enough. I thought this horse is a bet, number 8, Nicanova. Like he give these a start and a beating, these horses that he raced against last time. I think he's a big overlay at the price. Horse is completely airborne. Hasn't raced for 4 weeks, but he did have a little jump out at Toowoomba on Tuesday in preparation for this. Not many Group 1 gallops jump outs at Toowoomba on a Tuesday leading into a Group 1, but he's got to be a huge chance. Vega 1 can't entertain. Jonker 1300 first up on speed. There'll be tempo here. Susceptible. Savatiano's or Blaze Jowski. Outback Barbie I can't have. Panino and Dane Gazelle I can't have this class. But Sabatiano's got to be a chance, a good chance, I think. He'll get a nice run from the gate. I think it's about its price, probably $4. Any thoughts from the Sydney view?
Yeah, I mean, it does appear to map well, and they found it. You know, she's very honest. Some of her very best or dominant wins have been when she's been able to control the pace or just sit off a very soft pace, and that doesn't look like it's going to be the case here. But she'll be competitive for sure, and she's the safe way to go, but you're paying a premium price-wise, I reckon.
Yeah, I've got Nick and Ovis a fair bit shorter than market, so I'll probably pile in like a 1x3 basis or something like that, I think.
Yeah, right. It looks a nice price. I'd say if it was 1,200, not 13, on the dry, I'd like to find Jonker, but I think the last bit of 13 might just get him.
Last little bit, plus plus he's got to have a go at the track as well. Like, that's a little query.
What do you think of Ciurleo Fox, Mark?
Not enough at weight range. His best run this time in was first up. He trialled really well before that. Then he got the right spot on a bias track. He got a lovely run through. He got inside on a day he had to be inside out of the Rosehill chute and got a nice run through. Hasn't probably not as well suited that in the two starts since, but probably just not quite good. I mean, it's 40 to 1, so if you want to back it, I'm not going to say don't, but I don't know if he's good enough at this level at weight for age.
Does he drop back and did he win the Remorny last year?
He did. That's right. Yes.
Remorny's not far away. Have a shot at Group 1 level, and if you don't measure up, you can always go back to Grafton for the benefit race to pay for your prep. He probably looks a bit better than that sort of class, doesn't he? You might be out.
Well, he should have won more races than he has, I think, but that's down to his racing style. He's a sprinter, but he gets back.
Yeah. So that's me. I think I've landed there. I'm pretty comfortable with having something on Nick and over. Like, he was a tragedy beat, and I thought he was a tragedy beat in the Stradbroke last year, and 1,300 metres here, second up, I think is ideal. And his sectionals were super in winning last time. Like, he'd be hard to beat again with the right run. He can definitely run up to his best figures in this sort of setup, I think, for sure.
Makes sense to me.
Nothing else on the card that I want to talk about because I just don't like. You can make cases for 4 or 5 horses in every race.
As you said, wait for the day, see if there's any pattern that emerges, and go from there.
That's it.
All right, beautiful. Sounds good. Mark Rhoden, you'll join myself and Mark Sheen tomorrow to preview Randwick. How's the card looking early days?
Yeah, pretty good, pretty deep. Good, decent sized fields again, same as last week. Track won't dry that much, I don't think, but should be some action there, I would think.
Okay, and Kells, meanwhile, you'll also have meetings to basically pick the eyes out of at Toowoomba and...
Yeah, Toowoomba and Gold Coast on Saturday. The fields are, 11 o'clock on a Thursday morning, so the fields acceptances are just out. So I'm going to put a little bit more time into the entire card at both places this week because I've done Brisbane early and there's just so many chances in so many races, so I don't think there'll be a heap of action in town, but give me the filthy out wides any day of the week.
Well, sounds good to me. Meanwhile,
we've got Gatton on Sunday as well. Gatton Sunday, that's more important.
I was going to say that's a little bit unusual, but you've got Sunny Coast Friday.
Yeah, Sunny Coast Friday, yeah.
Okay. And we'll be betting at Caulfield. I suppose more than likely we won't have any Mountain Yard mail from on course because I believe in the next 20 minutes we'll be going into lockdown. But pretty used to that now. I think Jack and Jacko will be just firing off missiles from wherever they can find any angle.
I was sort of hoping Jacko will be firing missiles from the Mounting Yard at Gatton on Sunday. I've made up the spare bed in the spare room for him.
Hang on. You spent 3 minutes earlier in the show abusing Jamie Carr for coming up to ride in a Group Bloody 1 race, and then you want Jacko to look at him in the yard in Gatton or something.
Yeah, well, look, it's totally irrelevant if a few bush jocks get COVID. But we can't have Jamie infecting our Brisbane jocks. And she's not even taking the ride in the Stradbroke if it wins Saturday.
Sorry, she what?
She's coming up to ride Ayrton in a... What is this class race Saturday? Group 3 or something?
Best, yeah.
Yeah, Group 3.
Yeah. If it wins, it gets into the Stradbroke where she won't be riding it in a Group 1 worth $1 million.
Although she's also replacing Glenn Boss in a Group 1, so...
Oh, hello.
You never know. That's on Vega 1, actually, so...
Yeah, well, that's a jockey switch. That's a positive switch. I've got to go back and update my pricing sheet.
Add a few links there. Meanwhile, in WA, there's the Belmont Sprint, but it's hard to get too enthusiastic about the card at the moment because I think there's 15 to 25 mils of rain forecast, so... it's 2 Saturdays in a row. Anyway, we'll just keep plugging away. I'll probably back the same horse that I backed in the Roma Cup. If anyone wants a little sneak peek of that race.
Cool.
Okay. Very good, guys. We'll leave it there. We'll catch up tomorrow, Mark. Curls, we'll catch up on Monday for a bit of a deep dive. Go well.
Forward to it. Bye for now.
Bye for now.